Winter in a Russian village does not arrive suddenly. It comes slowly, almost politely, but behind that politeness hides a ruthless certainty. At first, the nights grow longer than conversations. Morning frost settles on the grass so thickly that it feels as if the earth itself is trying to fall asleep forever. Then one day you wake up and understand that autumn has left without saying goodbye, leaving behind only muddy roads, bare branches, and a heavy sense of waiting. The village changes during this time. It seems to shrink, to turn inward, closing itself behind shutters and doors. In summer, it was noisy in its own quiet way, even if few people remained. Footsteps carried far, voices echoed off empty houses, dogs stretched lazily in the sun. In winter, every sound is swallowed by the snow. Even barking feels muffled, as if coming from underwater. It seems as though the earth itself has become soft and mute. The first real snowfall always brings a strange feeling. It is beautiful while it is fresh, white, clean, almost ceremonial. It hides potholes in the road, broken boards, scattered trash, and signs of abandonment. For a day or two, the village looks like a postcard. But very quickly comes the realization that this snow is here to stay. It will not melt tomorrow, it will not disappear in a week. It will lie for months, piling up, weighing down roofs, burying paths, turning every journey into a trial. Winter in a Russian village is, above all, cold. Not the kind of cold that is simply uncomfortable on the skin, but the kind that penetrates inside. It lives in the walls of houses, in the floors, in the stove if it is poorly heated. It seeps through cracks in windows, through old doors, through the air itself. Even when you sit near the fire, it feels as if the cold is waiting behind your back, patient, knowing that sooner or later you will stand up. The houses here are old. Most were built decades ago, sometimes even before the war. The wood has dried and cracked, the foundations have sunk, the windows are crooked. In summer, this is barely noticeable, but in winter every flaw becomes an enemy. The smallest gap turns into an icy blade. People stuff rags into window frames, tape paper over cracks, hang old blankets. Anything that can slow the cold is used. The stove is the heart of the house. Without it, winter is impossible. But the stove demands care, time, and strength. Firewood must be prepared in advance. If you did not manage to do it in time, winter will not forgive you. Chopping wood in the frost is exhausting work. Hands go numb, breathing becomes heavy, sweat freezes instantly on your back. But without firewood, the house quickly turns into an icy box. Some elderly people heat the stove twice a day. In the morning, to warm the house at least a little, and in the evening, to survive the night. At night, the temperature inside still drops. You wake up because your nose is freezing under the blanket and your breath feels too cold. Sometimes frost appears on the inside of the windows, forming patterns that look beautiful but mean only one thing: the house is too cold. Water in winter is a separate problem. Villages rarely have central water supply. Wells freeze, buckets become covered with ice. You have to break the crust, lower the bucket again and again. Sometimes you must walk far, along a packed path that slips under your feet. One wrong step and you are already lying in the snow, and getting up is hard because your clothes become wet and immediately start to freeze. Doing laundry in winter is almost a feat. The water is icy, hands quickly lose feeling. Drying clothes is difficult. The house is cold, and outside they turn into frozen boards. As a result, people wash less often, take care of their clothes, but the smell of dampness and smoke still seeps into everything. Food in winter is simple and heavy. Things that can be stored for a long time: potatoes, pickles, grains. Meat, if there is any, is frozen, sometimes kept outside. Frost becomes a refrigerator. Bread often goes stale faster than it can be eaten. Fresh products are rare. A shop, if it exists at all, may be dozens of kilometers away. And the road in winter is a challenge of its own. Buses run rarely or not at all. Snow covers the highways, and equipment does not always keep up. Sometimes the village is cut off from the world for weeks. People get used to this, but anxiety still lives inside them. If someone gets sick, if something serious happens, help may not arrive in time. Loneliness in winter is felt especially sharply. In summer, you can go out, walk, meet a neighbor, talk. In winter, everyone stays in their own house. Roads are buried, darkness comes early, and the cold drives you back under the roof. Phones have poor reception. The internet, if it exists, is weak. A person is left alone with silence, with the crackling of the stove, and with their thoughts. The elderly in the village seem to age even more in winter. Their steps become slower, their breathing heavier. For them, every trip outside is a risk. Yet they still go out. For water, for firewood, to check on a neighbor if they have not been seen for a while. In these short conversations by the gate lies their entire social life. They talk about the weather, about health, about the past. They rarely talk about the future. Winter intensifies memories. In the quiet and half-light of long evenings, thoughts return to what once was. People remember times when the village was full, when every house had light in the windows, when children ran through the snow, built forts, laughed. Now there is almost no children's laughter. If there are children at all, there are few of them, and winter for them is not joy but limitation. Schools in such villages are often closed. Children are taken to neighboring villages or towns, if they are taken at all. Sometimes classes are cancelled because of the weather. Children sit at home, look out the window where a snowstorm draws its patterns, and dream of a place where it is warm and bright. Nights in winter are especially long. Darkness falls early, dawn comes late. It feels as if the day consists of a few hours of gray light, and everything else is night. Electricity sometimes goes out. Old power lines cannot withstand wind and snow. Then people light candles, kerosene lamps, if they still have them. Shadows dance on the walls, and the house begins to feel alive, but not always friendly. A snowstorm is a phenomenon of its own. It can last for hours, sometimes for days. The wind howls, snow flies horizontally, visibility drops to almost nothing. In such moments, going outside is dangerous. You can lose your bearings, get lost just a few meters from your own porch. There have been cases when people were found frozen to death very close to their homes. After a storm, the village looks different. Snow lies in waves, fences are half buried, doors are hard to open. You have to dig yourself out again and again. It is endless work. You clear a path, and a day later it is covered again. Yet within this harshness, there is a strange beauty. In the morning, when the frost is especially strong, the air becomes crystal clear. The stars at night are bright and close, as if you could reach them with your hand. Snow crunches underfoot in a way it does nowhere else. The forest stands motionless, as if frozen in time. Sometimes you hear a tree crack somewhere far away from the cold. The sound is sharp, almost frightening. It reminds you how powerful winter is and how fragile a human being is before it. People in the village live slowly in winter. There is no rush, no fuss. Each day is similar to the previous one. You wake up, heat the stove, fetch water, cook food, live through the short daylight, heat the stove again, go to bed. And so it goes, week after week. But it is precisely in this slowness that a special feeling is born, survival. Here, winter is not a background but a test. It tests character, patience, strength. It does not spare, but it does not deceive either. Everything is honest. Either you are prepared, or you are not. Some do not endure it. They leave, abandon their houses, leave the village behind. In winter, it is especially clear which houses are empty. There is no smoke from their chimneys, the windows are dark, the snow by the doors remains untouched. These houses stand like silent witnesses to the fact that not everyone was able to accept this reality. But those who stay accept winter as part of life. They do not romanticize it, but they do not curse it either. They know that after winter, spring will come. The snow will melt, the roads will open, the sun will become warm. This belief helps them survive the coldest nights. Winter in a Russian village is not a story about beauty and comfort. It is a story about endurance, about silence, about a struggle with cold and loneliness. It is a reality where there is no room for illusions. Here, every day is a small victory. And perhaps that is why people who have lived through such a winter look at the world differently. They know the true value of warmth, light, and the simple presence of another human being nearby.